Hello, guys, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. We are back for a deadline stream, looking ahead to game week 5. Now, we've had a bit of a break. Obviously, there was international football, wasn't there? And then there was Champions League as well midweek. Sorry, we had the international break, then we had game week 4. Now we're back to game week 5. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this stream. Obviously, I wasn't there on the team selection video, so back now, and hopefully we can have a good stream. But yeah, how you doing, Jordan? How's your week gone so far?
Yeah, so far so good. Hopefully everyone else is having a nice week so far too. Yeah, hopefully game week 5 is a bit more success compared to game week 4. I think we'll want to forget what happened last obviously week, but yeah, it will be interesting what the Champions League midweek will do to this game week.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to this game week. Game week 4 was pretty terrible for everyone. Very low scoring week. A lot of the popular players that we have didn't do too well. So this is what my team currently looks like. My bus team for game week 5 on the screen. So I'll just read through the lineup for you guys. So in goal, I've got Henderson. I'm playing a back 3 of Saliba, Robinson, and then Trent. Midfield 4 of Jota, Salah, Smith Rowe, and Eze. And up front, I've got Haaland, João Pedro, who's currently flagged, and Chris Wood. Now, João Pedro was seen in training, so he trained as normal, and it looks like he could start. So again, no info, but he was seen in training, which is a positive update because he did miss out game week 4 after returning back from international duty with a knock. And on the bench, I have Rodgers, who's got Wolves at home. I probably will bench Rodgers this week. I've also got Ola Aina, who's got Brighton away, and Barco on the third bench. Now, the only sort of benching option I have is to play Ola Aina, or do I play someone like Saliba, who's got Man City away? And I don't really see a clean sheet for Arsenal. So I could be tempted to play Ola Aina, who's done really well. We know Forest are unbeaten. It is Brighton, however. So Brighton did draw last week. But yeah, in my position, Jordan, would you play Saliba, who's got Man City away, or would you play Ola Aina, who's got Brighton away?
Well, between the two, I don't see a clean sheet for either one. But I would probably play Aina over Saliba just because of the fixture is more likely of a clean sheet because Arsenal and Man City, I can see both teams scoring in that game. But the same for pretty much Nottingham Forest and Brighton. I see Brighton have had a really good start of the season, and so have Nottingham Forest. They haven't undefeated still so far this season, but I'll probably put more, I think, success in Aina getting a clean sheet over Saliba.
And in terms of Robinson as well, would you play Robinson definitely? Because he's got Newcastle at home.
Yeah, because Newcastle's away form is not that great. I know they won last game week away 2-1, but Fulham, on the other hand, they haven't kept many clean sheets, but I do like Robinson's attacking threat still. He has had 2 assists so far this season, so yeah, I'll be willing to play him against Newcastle at home.
Okay, no, fair enough. But yeah, at the moment I've got Saliba there. I might change my mind and play Ola Aina, but just have a feeling if I play Ola Aina, Saliba probably goes scores from a set piece, as we saw Gabriel do last week. That's the only worry I have when benching the Arsenal defenders. They can potentially score on a set piece, as we know they are quite good. Jenny says, hi guy, thoughts on triple captain Salah? Now we will come on to captaincy, and as you can see, my captaincy is actually on Mo Salah at the moment. I'm going to put the vice as well, you see, on Trent. And in terms of triple captain Salah this week, I'm personally not going to do it. As you see, even in game week 3 when Haaland got that hat trick, was it game week 3 now or game week 2? A lot of people went for it. Congratulations to those that did triple captain Haaland that week against, was it Ipswich, wasn't it, when he got the hat trick?
It's which I believe, yes.
Yeah. I prefer to triple captain my players in a double game week. if you were going on a single game week, I'd prefer Haaland in a single game week against a newly promoted team. I personally wouldn't triple captain Salah, but it's up to you, Jenny, if you feel like if you have a gut feeling. But yeah, not for me. I'm happy to go with Salah captain ahead of Haaland this week. And Haaland's got Arsenal now. Also, we'll come on to your team in a sec. I haven't actually seen your plans and what you're going to do. So in terms of transfer plans as well, guys, I do have one free transfer, I think, after I did do 2 transfers last week. My plan is it's a boring week in terms of transfers. I am going to roll the move. So I don't think my team necessarily needs a transfer, especially now with news that João Pedro was in training and he should start. I'm quite happy to play him. If João Pedro is, flagged and he misses out again, then I'll just have Ola Aina come off the bench. I've also got Rogers there as well, so I'm quite happy either one of them coming on. So there's no way I'm doing a transfer. I don't think. I'm trying to save it. Game week 6, I might wild card. We'll have to wait and see because obviously I've not got any Arsenal attackers at the moment, so I might want to bring one in ahead of the game week 6 fixtures. But yeah, I'm rolling move, I think.
Yeah, it seems like the week 2 roll, your team doesn't need it. João Pedro's the only flag, and he might start anyway. So yeah, you got a good bench cover, Aina and Rogers too.
Yeah, let's look at your bus team. Just talk us through. Just read us through your 11 and also your transfer plans.
So starting goal, got Hermanson, back 3, Robertson, and Dunk. Midfield 5, we've got Palmer, Rogers, Diogo Jota, Salah, Mitoma, and up front we've got Haaland and João Pedro. And on the bench, we've got Fies, Keane, and Wheatley. So yeah, in terms of captaincy, I've captained Salah this week over Haaland, despite his run of form. I think still Liverpool will look to bounce back after losing 1-0 to Nottingham Forest at home last game week. So I feel like this is a need 3 points for them after that defeat. In terms of, again, transfers, I did wildcard last game week, so there's no need for me to make a transfer this week. So it is a boring pick for me to roll the transfer over into game week 6 because the team doesn't need it, especially after activating the chip. And yeah, I'm liking all the fixtures that the teams have. Pretty much all of them have home fixtures apart from Palmer, who's away to West Ham. So I'm quite happy with that. In the case of João Pedro not starting or playing any minutes, Fies will come off it. We've got Everton at home, so I might potentially have double Leicester defence, as I do have the goalkeeper as well. Keane, on the other hand, is yellow flagged for. I'm not actually sure what he's flagged for, but let me just quickly check. For a thigh injury, so hopefully he won't have to come on, because Fies should come on for João Pedro in the worst case. But apart from that, that is the team locked and ready for game week 5. I don't see any changes necessarily needed, and I'm happy with the captain pick.
Okay, so you've gone with you're rolling in move as well. Obviously, you did a wild card in game week 4, so it sort of makes sense after a wild card to roll. Your team should be set up in a decent way. Obviously, you've also gone Salah captain as well as me. Do you think it's how sure are you on Salah captaincy? Do you think it's a sort of a no-brainer to go Salah this week with the fixture he has against Bournemouth? On paper, it is the best fixture, especially with Arsenal and Man City playing each other. Have you considered anyone else at all, or have you always been on Salah since bus team?
Well, I did consider Palmer, but because Chelsea kick off early and it's a derby for them two, it's I don't think I want to go for an early kick-off captain. So yeah, the next best pick was probably going to be Salah. I mean, there was slight temptation like Haaland because of his run of form, but again, it is Arsenal. I don't expect that to be a high-scoring game. Maybe 1 or 2 goals involved in that. So I feel like there's going to be more goals coming from that Liverpool and Bournemouth game, and hopefully it comes from Salah the goals this week compared to last week.
Yeah, Liverpool did have a disappointing loss last game week against Forest in the 1-0 loss at Anfield. Liverpool did bounce back in the Champions League with a 3-1 win. 3-0 win, wasn't it? I think in the end. Against AC Milan. It was a convincing win for Liverpool, and they'll be looking to bounce back in terms of the Premier League as well after their loss last week. So Salah played 90 minutes, I think, against Milan. But I expect him to be starting this one. It's a big game in terms of having to bounce back for Liverpool and get back to winning ways. So yeah, I'm on Salah as well. Jota wasn't great. I thought last week in game week 4 against Forest, and he wasn't too good in the Champions League either. I'm slightly worried if he could be rotated. I don't think he will drop him and play a Nunes, but Jota is one to watch if he can potentially be rotated because he hasn't been great in his last 2 fixtures. And we know they've got options up front, Liverpool. They've got the likes of Gakpo that can play down the middle. Darwin still yet to get a start for the season. We know Chiesa is now in the mix as well. So one to watch with Jota. Robertson, in your regard, is also been rested in the Champions League game. So he should come back into the 11, I think, 100%. I've got Trent. Again, I expect Trent to start. Could potentially get an early sub after 70 for Bradley. But if Liverpool have 2-3 up, hopefully, we'll have to see. But yeah, we'll look at fixtures in a second. We'll take a few more comments. Jenny says start Wood or Welbeck. Obviously, they play against each other, isn't it? So
yeah,
who are you starting? Who do you expect to get the win?
Well, it's a hard one really because Nottingham Forest have played really well so far this season, not so Brighton. I feel like it's going to be a draw between the two, but I will pick to start Welbeck over Wood.
Okay.
I just think it'd be more. I think if João Pedro doesn't start in the 11, and Welbeck obviously does, that gives more, I think, benefit to him if he is the only lone striker on the pitch. But yeah, I think I'll start Welbeck over Wood in that fixture.
I'll probably start Wood. As you can see, he's in my team, so I'm going to choose Wood for this one. I've been impressed with Forest, not just against Liverpool. They've been quite decent. Even the back end of last season, the defensive numbers are decent. So, we know the manager Nuno is doing well there. So yeah, I'll back Wood on this one as I am starting him myself. João Pedro update: is he going to start? All we know is that he was seen in training and he trained as normal, so he should be, fine. And assuming from what we hear, he should start. But again, it's not 100%. FPL Dodo as well. Good morning.
Good morning, Dodo. Yeah, I think in the worst case for João Pedro is he makes the bench and he comes on for a few minutes. Best case scenario, he starts in the 11, but I have a feeling he will be benched in that game and come on maybe.
Yeah. Hizamu with the comment, good morning, newlywed Haas and Martial lookalike Jordan. Not sure you're single or married. Thank you, Hizamu. Appreciate it. Good to see you in the stream again. Another comment. Hamza, do you think Diaz will start? Good question. So Diaz was rested in the AC Milan fixture in the Champions League, and I think Gakpo played on the left, and Gakpo played really well against AC Milan. So I've seen some Liverpool fans suggest that should Gakpo actually start now in this game. But also interestingly about Slot, his comments. Slot actually, after Liverpool lost 1-0 in the post-match press conference, Arne Slot actually said Gakpo was meant to start against Forest, but because he came back from international break and he wasn't as fit as Diaz, that's why Diaz actually started ahead of him. So Gakpo was meant to start Forest. So take that what you know. It's not any info, but that's what Slot said. Gakpo could potentially start this one, but if I still had to sort of bet on it, I would still go Diaz will probably start. But there is definitely a scenario where Gakpo, I think, can start because he's been playing really well in the cameos he's had so far this season. Looked very good against AC Milan on the Champions League fixture as well. Ferrari says bench one of Mbeumo, Rogers, Eze, Pedro. For me, is Rogers easy.
Yes. Yeah, Rogers for me too.
I'm just looking at the fixtures as well. Mbeumo has Spurs. I still think he can return against Spurs. Pedro, Forest, Eze, who has Man United at home. I think that's a good fixture for Eze as well. So I think Rogers, 5.4 million, as I said, he's not got a return yet this season. So I think for me, it's an easy one, but he probably will score this week now. Back to business. Isak to Havertz, good move long term. Yeah, I think it is. Maybe not this week because obviously Havertz has Man City, but after that, game week 6, game week 7, game week 8 even, they've got some nice fixtures coming up, Arsenal, and you could take advantage of bringing him in early because Havertz will probably get a price rise as well in the coming weeks, I think, because people are going to be looking to bring him in. Comment here as well, Jordan. Sell Mooney's is the striker, I believe. I always get Mooney's and Munoz confused. The defender for Palace and then the striker for Fulham. So sell the Fulham striker Mooney's to Pedro, or Pedro to DCL. So Mooney's, Pedro to DCL, or upgrade Sangare to Smith Rowe.
I think that's pretty easy. I think I'll sell Mooney's. I think because he hasn't had a single return at his price of 6 million. That's not too expensive, but the fact he only played 17 minutes against West Ham game before doesn't fill me with confidence about him playing against Newcastle. And with no goals, no assists this season, he's the one that needs to go, I think. It's a bit of a letdown because I had him originally in my team, thought he would do well, but he hasn't been a great, obviously, player to own in terms of FPL.
Hani says, "Hi guys, I lost my account. I was FPL agent. I hope you remember me. Well, guys, do you reckon me wildcarding this week?" Yeah, we remember FPL agent. Good to see you back, mate. I hope you're well. He has Isaac, Gordon, Hall, Feist, Jebison, Barco, Ahmad. Yeah, could potentially be in a wildcard territory. Let us know who you're starting, your 11, and then we'll let you know. Spurs 64. Hey fellas, any advice for my team? Got Sanchez, Robinson, Trent, Porro, Mbermo, Semenyo, Salah, Eze, Welbeck, Haaland, and Havertz starting 11. 0.1 in the bank, 2 free transfers. I think your team looks fine from what I see initially.
Yeah, you could roll over 3 transfers next week because all those players on that 11 are fine.
Yeah, Semenyo does was a Liverpool, so it's maybe not ideal to play him this week, potentially, but he could get you a goal. Porro has Palace. Is it sorry, not Palace. Brentford. So again, decent fixture to play him in. I think the rest of the team looks fine. Welbeck's fine to play. Havertz as Man City. So again, it's not the best pick this week, but from next week, Havertz I think becomes a good pick. Dan the Man, morning guys, got 2 free transfers, Vardiol and Isak to Porro and Watkins, or Saka and Isak to Son and Solanke. Interesting question. So what would you do here, Jordan? I mean, would you take Vardiol out? Because I think you could keep the faith with him potentially, but what do you make of this comment?
I would agree with taking Vardiol out though, because he's 6 million, and in terms
and he is wildcarding next week. So if that changes your influence, your question, your answer.
Yeah, in terms of if you're wildcarding next week, you might want to go on a few punts and get rid of players that like Guardiola at 6 million. It does save you money. And Man City have only had 1 clean sheet, and that was from Chelsea in the first fixture. Other than that, they've conceded a goal. And Guardiola hasn't really shown much attacking numbers. Like, he's had no assist and no goal so far compared to last season where we saw him a bit more attacking. So yeah, I'll definitely do Guardiola to Porro, as well as Isaac to Watkins. He did score 2 goals last game week.
Yeah,
like we said, he did show a lot of chances in his games, and it was only a matter of time before Watkins did return, and yeah, he did. So yeah, I'll probably go with the first moves. Isaac to Watkins and Guardiola to Porro.
Okay, enough. Fair enough. Let's look at some of the fixtures. We know West Ham, Chelsea, early kickoff. Decent game to start the day off. Could be goals in this one potentially. Villa play Wolves in the 3:00 kickoff. Fulham, Newcastle, Leicester, Everton, Liverpool, Bournemouth, Southampton, Ipswich. Again, Watkins could be decent for this one if you've got him against Wolves. Wolves, we know, are shipping goals. They've not really had a great start to the season. Fulham and Newcastle don't really know what to expect from that game. So if you've got the likes of Gordon, I think it's fine to play him in this one. Isak, if he's fit, but I think he's still out, isn't he? Is he still flagged?
He was yellow flagged. Yeah, he's still yellow flagged.
Yeah.
75 chance playing.
Okay, so yeah, one to watch with Isak. You probably want to remove him again. Hopefully we hear some early team news, but I don't think we're going to get any. Leicester, Everton, don't really own any of the assets. Liverpool, Bournemouth, and a lot of us are on triple Liverpool, like the Trent, Jota if he starts. Hopefully he does. Salah as well, captaincy. It's a fixture we'll be looking at because obviously a lot of us are captaining Mo Salah this week. So it is one that we'll be hoping that Salah does well in. Southampton, Ipswich, two of the newly promoted teams. Again, not really two teams that we have assets from. Not really popular assets for, at the moment. Spurs, Brentford is an interesting game. I think it could be a good game to watch. Solanke, I think, is fine. And Burmo, there could be goals in this game. So I think if you've got players from these teams, I think you're more than happy to play them because there is a good fixture for either team because there's going to be goals, I think, in this one. And the late one today, we've got Palace at home to Manchester United. Now, I actually think this is a tricky game for Man United. I think I wouldn't be surprised if Palace do get something here, even a draw. Eze, I think if you've got Eze, guys, I know a lot of people have been frustrated with Eze, especially at the start of this, the start of the season, the first 2-3 games he did blank. However, he did score against Chelsea, and it's another big game, evening kickoff against Manchester United. I think Eze will want to, show what he can do, and I will be keeping the faith with Eze myself. And I think if you've got Eze, definitely keep the faith. He can get you points against Man United. In terms of a Man United front, though, if you've got Man United assets, likes of Bruno, likes of Garnacho, if he starts, could be decent as well. So you might want to keep the faith if you've still got Man United assets at this point in your team. But I don't see it being that of an easy game for Man United, even though they did have a big win on Tuesday against Barnsley. Sunday, we've got 2 games, Brighton, Forest. So we won't hear Pedro news. Obviously, he plays on the Sunday. So I think he probably will start. Again, it's just a guess. So I don't really know, but he was seen in training, Abbas. So hopefully he does. And then he plays against Chris Wood, my other striker. So 2 of my strikers are playing against each other. A bit of a clash, but, it is what it is. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that one because I've got 2 players in that game. So we'll see what happens. And then the big one this weekend, Man City, Arsenal, what feels like a really early sort of battle to see, who can get, one in front of each other. Really, with both sort of going for the title. We know Arsenal last season were close. Man City won it, and Man City will, I think, again, it will be a tough game for Arsenal going away to the Etihad. I think it'll be a low-scoring game, so that's why I'm not captaining Haaland. I think there'll be like 1 goal in it, either way.
Yeah.
Maybe 1-0, 2-1 max. But yeah,
it's gonna be very stifling. I think that game, mostly in the middle, teams trying to work each other out.
Yeah, and we remember last season's game where Arsenal just sort of parked the bus in that second fixture, and they just defended. I can see it being one of those sort of cagey games, but who knows? Comment here: bought in Dina for Munoz, and considering starting Wood over Pedro. I just think Brighton won't risk Pedro and will be happy with their new signing, Rutter, to start. Thoughts? Yeah, you could potentially start Wood. I'm starting Wood and Pedro. So I don't think Wood is a bad pick. He scored 2 goals already this season in 4 matches. So, he's scoring 1 every 2. Don't think it's a bad pick. With Pedro, again, it's all hearsay. No one really knows, but he trained. So I'm going to start him, and hopefully you've got bench cover if he doesn't start. But I would start Pedro personally. We know he's on penalties as well. And at his price, he's very good value. Current 11, Henderson, Porro, Fice, Robinson, Ahmad, Jota, Salah, Mitoma, Gordon, Isak, Haaland, bench, Hall, Jebison, Barco. Yeah, I think your team looks fine. I mean, I wouldn't want to be starting Fice, but personally, Ahmad, again, is a risk if he's going to start because he's got a couple of games, hasn't he? I don't think he started. He started the last game, didn't he? But there's always worries he could play Garnacho there.
Yeah, I think Ahmad. Well, let me just check whether he started the last game or not. He did start last game. He got an assist.
Yeah.
Against Southampton. So yeah, he played 90 minutes in that game.
Yeah, I think Ahmad is a decent pick if he starts at his price, but he can get rotated, obviously, and even coming off the bench, you can get subbed. For Garnacho. I don't think Gordon is a worry. If Isak is out, he probably on pens. Yeah, Gordon could be decent against Fulham. It's not a bad fixture to have him in on the counter attack. Reckon Rico Lewis starts again. I'm rolling my free transfer, so either risk playing him or play Harry Winks. I think Rico Lewis probably does start still. Has he started every game now this season? Rico Lewis.
Rico Lewis.
I believe he has. If you want to check that for me.
He has, apart from the Brentford one, he only played 45.
Yeah. I mean, I think he starts. He seems to have sort of the shirt this season over someone like Walker. So, yeah, I'd expect him to start. Morning, lads. Saka, Eze, Rogers, Jota, Smith Rowe, Erling, and Isak up front. Welbeck bench, Trent captain. 3 free transfers next week. That's an interesting team. Obviously, going Trent captain's interesting. What do you make of that?
Yeah, Trent captain's very different. I don't think many people are going to go for a Liverpool defender captain. So yeah, I like the pick. It could be big for Trent, especially against Bournemouth at home.
Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't. It's hard to bench Welbeck though. That one's a tough one. But obviously you've got Isak, Haaland up front, and then obviously you've got that midfield. I probably would bench Rodgers and play Welbeck, in my opinion. 10 though.
Yeah, and in terms of Trent captaincy, obviously Trent is yet to get a return. I don't think he's got an assist or a goal in the 4 matches, but he's been a bit unlucky. He had a goal ruled out against Man United for a slight offside for Salah. And then he also had a couple of really good chances where he set up Jota, where he missed a couple of sitters against the Ipswich in the first game. So I think Trent will return. Trent is, I think, a 16-pointer waiting to happen soon. I think he will get a double-digit haul, and it's just when it's going to be. Rutter will probably play full 90 today. It's the right start for a new signing. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people say Rutter could start. So one to watch, definitely, but I'm hoping, obviously, as a Pedro fan, he starts. But I do have bench cover, guys. If you've got João Pedro, you definitely want a bench in case he doesn't start.
I think the Brighton fixture is tomorrow. It's not today as well. Cobb.
Yeah.
Because they play Sunday.
Yeah, we won't hear any team news, but we did hear that he did train, and there was pictures of he was photographed training. So we'll have to see. But yeah, have a bench, guys, if you're on João Pedro. As an Arsenal fan, I feel City Arsenal game could be Jekyll and Hyde sort of game, either going to be full of goals or really tight. Yeah, I think it will be a tight game. I don't see many goals in it. I think it will be 1 goal in it, whoever wins it. Personally, but it's going to be a good game for sure. I'll definitely be watching it. We're back streaming as well after that game, Arsenal and City. Start Anderson for Fulham, or Porro, who's got Brentford. Still probably start Pedro Porro, just more attacking threat, more likely to get you a goal or an assist.
Yeah, I agree. Porro does show more attacking threat, and that could be a lively fixture for both teams. I think that'll be high scoring one between the two. Maybe there's an attacking term for Porro in that game.
Comment here. Missed a bit of the stream. Hope you guys are doing well. Any update on Liverpool team news? Want to transfer in Diaz? Yeah, we spoke about Diaz a little bit. In terms of Liverpool, there has been like team rumors going around. I'll just bring it up. So with Diaz, he was rested in the Champions League game against Milan, as mentioned. He didn't come on at all. We know Gakpo played down the left. Gakpo played really well. Gakpo's looked quite good actually this season so far when he's come off the bench. And I've seen people say Gakpo should actually start this one. There is slight worry where Diaz could get rotated out, but because Gakpo played 90 minutes against Milan, I expect Diaz to start personally, but don't completely rule it out because we know Liverpool have a lot of options now up there. Diaz, Jota, Chiesa's there now. Chiesa got a couple of minutes against Milan. I don't think he'll start, but he's an option. Nunes is yet to make a start this season, so if Nunes goes down the middle, he could play Gakpo left. I don't think he'll make that many changes. Slot seems to like minimal changes, so I think you should be fine with Diaz. But I'm trying to see if I've not seen any team news, but I still would expect Diaz to start personally, just due to his rest he had against Milan. Brave choice as well. So Trent captain. Yes, brave, but it's one with high upside potentially. Martinez, Konsa, Trent, Anderson, Salah, Rutter, Palmer, Smith Rowe, Ahmad, Duran, Haaland. Rota is the star. So it seems a lot of love for Rota this game week.
Yeah, so big differential this week.
What's his ownership?
I can imagine it's only probably less than 1%. Rota. I can't even find him on the list.
Hold on. Just go on to Brian Forwards. All right, take a few more comments. Thoughts on Bowen in general? I hear he has been playing deep. I mean, Bowen's one that's not really crossed my mind so far this season, if I'm being honest. And he's got 1 assist this season. Let me just have a look. And his minutes as well. Hold on. Yeah, you might have not seen Rutter. Obviously, his name on the game is Jorginho, and he's a midfielder at 5.5. But again, it's one that I'm not sure that he will play. You know, he's not played much at all. He's played 66 minutes in game week 4. Will he start? Yeah, I'm not sure personally yet. It's one I wouldn't want to take a risk on. Going back to the West Ham one. Where is West Ham? So Bowen, looking at his stats, you know, he did get 2 assists back to back now. So he got an assist against Man City. He got an assist against Fulham as well. So he has been getting some points. Again, just the 5 points. He did get a goal against Palace in game week 2. He's not someone that I'm looking at, you know, to be honest. Like, fixtures have been quite tough. Villa, Palace, Man City in the first 3 games. That's tough, get a fixture run. However, he did get a goal against, an assist against Man City and a goal against Palace. So he's not done too bad considering his tougher fixtures. I think he's one that I'm looking at maybe second part of the season when the fixtures turn slightly for West Ham, because at the moment their fixtures aren't the best. You know, Chelsea this game week, Brentford after that, Ipswich, Spurs, Man United. I've not watched too much of West Ham. I mean, they've been okay, but yeah, not for me yet.
Yeah.
I mean, his ownership's only 6.3% as well at the moment.
Yeah, they haven't really scored high in games. Maybe one or 2 goals at most. And not really liking West Ham players yet.
Zonderix, is Havertz a good transfer in for Isak? Personally, I think it is, but not this week. I would wait before I transfer in Havertz till next week, because you look at Arsenal's fixtures. Let me just pull it up. This week, they've got Man City. So we don't expect them to score many goals against Man City. If Man City could even keep a clean sheet. I think Arsenal probably will score, but it's next week where you'd want the Arsenal assets like Havertz. Leicester at home in game week 6, Southampton at home in game week 7. That's 2 newly promoted teams back to back. Those are the fixtures that you want to target for a Havertz, for a Saka, but potentially Martinelli. And then after that, it's Bournemouth as well in game week 8. So Arsenal have 3 nice fixtures coming up after this Man City game. So that's why Wildcard 6 could make sense for people, because you can load up on a couple of Arsenal players, get Saka back into your team if you've sold him, and the likes of Havertz. And after that, again, the fixtures turn a bit tough in October, early November, Liverpool, Newcastle, and Chelsea in that one. So that's a bit tricky there. But yeah, you want to load up on a couple of Arsenal players, I think, in game week 6. You want to have at least one of the attacking players. What other comment have we got here? Who's a good replacement for Muniz, Jordan? Assuming at that price bracket.
Good replacement for Muniz, around 6 million. Chris Wood, he could be a good, decent one to replace Muniz. He does have a fixture against, obviously,
Brighton,
but it
Fulham after that as well.
Yeah, it should be a nice one in terms of run fixtures around that price. In terms of others, I mean, as a 1 week punt, I'd probably go for Vardy, who's got Everton, or vice versa, Calvert-Lewin, who plays against them. Those are 2 good differentials if you're looking for a 1 week punt instead of a long-term pick. But there's Welbeck, 5.7 million. Looking for Brighton
Yeah.
asset or João Pedro, and if he's fine. So yeah, either of those two, I think, in terms of replacements, could be good for your team.
Jenny says start Henderson or Flecken. I'm starting Henderson against Manchester United. I don't really see a clean sheet for either team, but I'd start the Palace goalkeeper personally. Um, I think Spurs is a tougher game, and it is an away game for Spurs. Sorry, it's a home game for Palace, and yeah, Spurs are away, I believe, aren't they? Or Spurs at home. Let me have a look. Where is it? Yeah, Spurs are at home. Sorry. So yeah, I mean, I still prefer the Palace game for Henderson. Who's a good replacement? We read this one. Any Kwanzaa news? No Kwanzaa news, and I don't expect Kwanzaa to start. It's going to be Konate. I think at the start in preseason, a lot of people just believed Kwanzaa would start. I was of the opinion that you know it's not nailed that Kwanzaa is now first team choice. Konate is always one of the best defenders in the league when he's fit. So there's no chance that Kwanzaa starts every game. So yeah, Konate for me, if he's fit, he's Liverpool's one of their best. Well, he's their second best centre back. Dan the man, double Arsenal defense or double attack from game week 6. I would prefer the double attack. I think personally, just more upside.
Yeah, it's got to be the double attack from game week 6. The fixtures are hard to ignore. I probably would like at least one defender in that double attack just to get the clean sheets for Arsenal. But yeah, I'd like a Saka and a Havertz combined up front from game week 6 onwards.
Yeah, those are the probably two that we're looking at. Saka, Havertz. Martinelli's not looked great. Trossard's there an option, but he's a rotation risk.
And Odegaard's obviously out.
Odegaard, yeah, we know he's out for a while. So yeah, he looks like Havertz and Saka are the main options for Arsenal in terms of goals in this team, in terms of FPL anyway, in terms of reliable assets to own. Jeff says, "How we doing, lads? Yeah, doing well, Jeff. I hope you're well." Luis Diaz or Watkins captain. Watkins has Wolves, hasn't he? So yeah. I'd prefer Luis Diaz as a differential, but again, I'd still go Salah if I was going Liverpool asset. If you don't own Salah, I think I'd prefer someone like Trent even at the differential over a Diaz, because even if Diaz starts, he probably will get subbed off for Gakpo after 60, 70 minutes.
Yeah, and Watkins captain is good as long as he scores early on in that Wolves game, because if it comes to the point in the late stages of second half where he hasn't scored or anything yet, Watkins, he's most likely going to be taken off early, like we have seen in the last few game weeks. So captain-wise, Watkins is a risk, but it could pay off if he does score early.
Yeah, with Watkins, we know his minutes. He's not getting full 90. I think obviously now Aston Villa are in Champions League. They have to be a bit more careful with him. There will have to be a bit more rotation now because more competitions now for Aston Villa. And it's going to be interesting to see how they manage the Champions League schedule. Is it confirmed or expected Isak to start? Nothing's been confirmed on Isak, but no. I'd probably keep him. I think he will start, by the way.
It's a difficult one because he was taken off because of an eye injury, but it later transpired that he also had a toe problem. And obviously he'll be assessed before the Fulham game, but
yeah,
2 injuries, it doesn't look good, but it's hard to say, really.
I would start Isak probably if you have him, but make sure you have a bench so you can auto sub out of it. If you don't have a bench, then yes, you'd probably want to sell him. But I just think he's probably going to start because he didn't look serious. He just, from what I see, but you could sell him. You can go to someone like Solanke. Could be a decent differential to own. We know Solanke has Brentford. Is it this week? And then after that, the fixtures are, quite kind, I think. So I mean, Man United. So in game week 6 isn't the best fixture maybe for Spurs, but then Brighton after that. So Solanke is one of those players that he's the main man for Spurs. So he could be a decent option if you want to sell him. Sorry, if you want to bring him in for Isak. Morning, boys. Took a rage hit. Eze to Ahmad. I would have kept the faith with Eze there. Soul Searcher. I think Eze could be a good pick against Man United. So I'm keeping the faith. Needed him back ASAP so I can enjoy watching United. Plus, Wissa out for Strand Larson, so I can move to get Raya and Gabriel double up in defense. So you've gone for the Arsenal double up in the defense. We prefer the attack, like likes of Saka, Havertz potentially from game week 6 onwards. I would avoid Arsenal players this week personally. I don't think you necessarily need to bring them in now when they've got Man City away. It's probably the toughest fixture of the season for them. So I would wait before I bring in the Arsenal. But yeah, Eze is interesting that you took him out. I would have kept the faith.
Yeah, it's a bit of a risky because Ahmad doesn't, well, he's not nailed to play 90 minutes every game week. Plus, I can see where you're going with the double Arsenal defense because that does save money on like going for Saka, who's 10 million plus, and Havertz, who's really expensive as well. So yeah, it does save money going for double Arsenal defense. I guess we'll see how that works out between who gets more points, the attack or defense going forward in the Arsenal fixtures after from game week 6 onwards.
Yeah, and also, guys, please do hit that like button. There's quite a few of you in here. If you haven't already, take a second, give us a like. It just helps support the channel, and also makes you are subscribed as well if you're not already. Hey lad, says Elliot, Isak to Watkins and Diaz to Mazraoui for free. Isak to Watkins is a decent move, I think. I think Watkins is going to be a popular move for managers, especially after this game. Look at the run. Ipswich in game week 6, but Wolves this week, Man United in 7, Fulham in 8, Bournemouth in 9. These are some good games. Obviously, there's Champions League games for Aston Villa as well. So I don't know how many 90 minutes Watkins is going to get here, but we know he's still a reliable goal scorer. I know he hasn't started the season off maybe as liked, but I think the fixtures coming up are good, and Watkins will be a decent pick on a wild card. Going to Mazraoui though, I'm not sure. I mean, I know Mazraoui's had an assist. He's done quite decent. He got an assist against Brighton, didn't he? He got a clean sheet last week against Southampton. Again, Southampton missed that penalty. Fixture wise, I'm not keen on it personally. Mazraoui, I probably would avoid him. He's not one that. I mean, I know he's quite popular. 15% of managers have bought him in. He's quite cheap, 4.6 million starting player for Man United. So get why he appeals at that price. But Palace, Spurs, Villa, Brentford, West Ham, Chelsea. I mean, these aren't. I mean, I don't see many clean sheets here for Man United personally. So here's the attacking returns you'll be hoping for. But at 4.6 as a starting starting player at Man United, I think he could be decent value for money still because he does get forward. He likes to take a shot, and he's cheap.
Yeah, I mean, for me as a Man United fan, I wouldn't mind having a defender at least cheap like that, like Mazraoui. It's just sometimes Man United can get away with a clean sheet in the most unlikeliest matches, and that's Southampton game as well. If that penalty was scored, it would be a whole different story. We were talking about Man United, but because Onana saved that penalty and Man United go on to win that game with a clean sheet, it just goes to show how unpredictable it can be, but it could be unpredictable in a good way for some games.
Yeah, with Mazraoui, I think I don't see many clean sheets. So is the attacking returns that you're looking for, and is there better placed 4.5s? Probably not. One would argue because he's starting at Man United at that price. So I can see why you'd want to go there, but not for me. I'm looking at players actually and defenders at that price. Let me have a look. What are the 4.5 options at the moment?
I think one off the top of my head is Leif Davies from Ipswich.
Yeah,
I mean, he's slightly a popular pick because of his attacking threat. Sometimes he does provide assists, and he does have a good fixture, arguably against Southampton, which could be good for him.
Yeah, I think Ola Aina is a much better pick than Mazraoui, personally, just because I see more clean sheets from Forest with their fixtures than I do with United. Veltman, we know, is an option. Brighton's fixtures are quite tough, so I probably would avoid Veltman personally. Mazraoui is up there, but I like Ola Aina at that price, 4.5. We know he started off the season 4.5. He had a price drop. Now he's back up to 4.5. So Ola Aina is probably my standout pick. Obviously, I've got him in my team, so I would say that. Dunk, he's another option. But again, we know Brighton's fixtures do slightly turn. Luca
Yeah.
Dean is an option. 2 assists. I'm surprised not many people are saying Luca Dean, 4.6 million, 2 assists already in 4 matches. Fixtures are looking good as well. So I think Luca Dean is a decent shout at that price. Probably would avoid Kilman. But yeah, there's not a huge option. Or you spoke about Davies, Leaf Davies at Ipswich. He's already had 1 assist as well. Got a clean sheet against Brighton. Fixtures, couple of green fixes for them. So if you wanted to go for an Ipswich player, he's one. Livramento could be one, 4.5. He does get a couple of subs after an hour. Again, no returns for him so far this season, so that's one to watch there as well. You've got Feist. He's a 90-minute man, but he's already got a goal. Surprisingly, probably I've not watched it. I'm assuming it was a header from a set piece. So he could potentially get you a set piece goal, but mainly you're looking at clean sheets. But do you have faith in the Leicester defense? But in terms of 4.5s, there's not a huge dearth of options, I don't think. But Mazraoui's not the worst pick. Thanks again, says Jenny. Have a great week, everyone. Yeah, have a great week. Hopefully you'll have a green arrow as well for this week. And see a lot of red arrows last week, I feel like, on our stream. So
yeah, not a lot of people had a very good game week. In the worst case, hopefully it shouldn't get any worse than that, though. It should get better this week.
Yeah, I think the average point was 51, and I just hit it, but it still was a red arrow for me because my safety was a bit higher. I should fix my team. Comment bench Havertz or Smith Rowe. I'll probably bench Smith Rowe still, even though Havertz has a tough game. It's Havertz. He's an 8 million forward playing for Arsenal. So I would want to bench him. I made that mistake with Eze. I benched him against Chelsea thinking, he had a few blanks. But I think when these players are expensive, you don't want to be benching that much money, essentially. So
yeah,
I wouldn't want to bench any expensive players. So yeah, definitely start Havertz.
Yeah, definitely start Havertz for me. I mean, I don't expect many goals in that game, and it's going to be unsure who's going to score it, but I put my money on Havertz between him and Smith Rowe too.
Yeah, and if Arsenal do get a goal, you don't rule out Havertz probably being one or him or Saka getting the goal, because where else are they got? I mean, they do get set piece goals, so it could be a defender as well. If you've got an Arsenal player in your team like a Havertz or a Saka, you've just got to play them and just hope they get you a return. Yeah, guys, hit the like button. If you're watching, make sure you're subscribed as well to the channel. Just hit 1.2. We are looking to hit 2K subscribers next. So if we can get there, share the video as well if you can, guys, on your socials as well, Twitter, Instagram, whatever you use. Do share the video. But yeah, going back to your teams, so you're pretty set on the moves. I mean, I see you've gone triple Brighton's interesting. You've gone with Dunk, Matoma, and Pedro.
Yeah,
you quite. I mean, your fixtures coming up. How would you feel about Brighton having triple Brighton with the fixtures? They do slightly turn.
Well, it hasn't really, because of the wild card in game week 4 when they had Ipswich. I thought the triple Brighton looked really good for that game, but obviously it was 0-0, no goals.
Yeah.
But I did get a clean sheet for Dunk at least, but the attacking sense, not very good. But I'm hoping it's not the Forest game as their last easiest fixture before it turns a bit difficult. It does provide me with something to make it worthwhile bringing 3 Brighton assets in, but it's more of a hope, I think, for Matoma rather than a Del Pedro if he isn't to start on Sunday's game.
Yeah, comment here as well from Charles. I'm benching both Pedro and Isak. What's your take on this? I wouldn't want to be benching both. I mean, who are you playing in their sort of in their place? I wouldn't want to bench either. I'd start both, and hopefully you have a bench cover for them if they were if they didn't start. So yeah, that's what I think. Isak, I still expect him to start, guys. So if you've got him, I'd be tempted to just keep him and play him against Wolves, because if he starts in that game, he could get you quite a lot of points. But yeah, it's not long left now till deadline. You're looking at 10 minutes, guys. It's gone quite quick, this stream. C-Man, keep Jota and Welbeck or change to Watkins and Jackson and a 4 million bench midfielder. I'd keep the faith, C-Man. Keep Jota and Welbeck against Forest is a decent fixture for him, and he's a differential as well. So not many people own Welbeck because most people went with Pedro. So Welbeck is a nice differential pick. And Jota, we know Jota hasn't been the best in the last two fixtures. He wasn't great against AC Milan in the Champions League, and he was subbed off after an hour against Forest, which I don't think he was great in that game either. But he should still start up front for Liverpool. We know Slot prefers him down the middle ahead of the likes of Darwin at the moment. So yeah, don't be surprised if Jota goes against a brace against Bournemouth. But he is, he's not been the best in the last two fixtures. But I think we expect a big response from Liverpool as they showed. I thought against Milan, Liverpool were brilliant.
Yeah, you still want to keep the faith in Joe. I wouldn't be getting rid of Liverpool assets yet to see what happens in the Bournemouth game and take it from there, I think.
Start one of Smith Rowe, Hall, or Robinson, Jordan. Who are you starting out of this?
It's got to be Smith Rowe. I mean, in terms of Newcastle and Fulham, I don't see clean sheets for either of those two. I know Robinson shows a bit attacking threat, but I'd rather have Smith Rowe in there instead of his defender. So yeah, I'll probably start Smith Rowe.
Yeah, I'll start the attacker there as well. Koshik. I just think just more upside with Smith Rowe could potentially get you a goal. And going back to my team, obviously I am starting Smith Rowe myself. So, I mean, would you start Smith Rowe ahead of Rodgers, by the way? Because Rodgers has Wolves at home. Smith Rowe has Newcastle at home. I mean, I'm not really. I mean, I'm thinking, should I just start Smith Rowe?
I mean, there's an argument there because obviously Rodgers hasn't had a single return. He's come close to maybe getting a goal or assist, but you got Smith Rowe there who's already had success in terms of goals and assists.
Yeah, I am tempted to just start the better fixture, which is Rodgers. Yeah. And I know he hasn't returned yet, but I shouldn't. We shouldn't always look at previous. We look at the future game weeks. You know what? I'm gonna start Rodgers. I think. I don't know. I just think it's a better fixture, and I don't want to be the one that benches Rodgers his first points. So I'm gonna play Rodgers. I think, and I like how we know Wolves have been conceding a lot of goals, and Newcastle is still a tougher fixture.
Yeah, and plus with Smith Rowe, he doesn't play 90 minutes. He plays about an hour or so of football too, and whereas Rodgers will play the full 90 minutes in the game. So there is more upside going the minutes over him as well. But yeah, maybe I'm swayed to start Rodgers as I am as well in my team in the hopes that he can actually get something from a game week. But he's coming close. But he just lacks a bit of confidence in matches, and he's just building that up slowly. So hopefully he does.
I also want to see the clean sheet odds because there's, the clean sheet odds. I do like looking at them because I'm not ruling out completely starting Ola Aina. So clean sheet odds. Liverpool have the highest chance of a clean sheet this week, 44%. Man City is 42% against Arsenal. Brighton's 40% against Forest. Villa 38% against Wolves. Tottenham 33% against Brentford. Leicester 29% against Everton. Chelsea 29% against West Ham. Southampton 29% against Ipswich. Newcastle 27% against Fulham. Everton have a 20% chance. Man United have a 25% chance against Palace. Fulham 23% chance. Fulham have a 23% chance of a clean sheet. And Nottingham Forest apparently have a 20% of a chance of a clean sheet. So not much in it, 3% between Fulham and Forest defenders. So probably would go with Robinson, probably the better attacking threat as well, right?
Yeah, because you have that attacking threat in there for Robinson as well. So even if it isn't a clean sheet, you can still get an assist. And he has shown that in 2 game weeks where they haven't managed to keep this clean sheet against Ipswich and Leicester. But he has managed to get an assist from both.
Oh, guys, team news for Liverpool. Let me have a look.
Hopefully it's good news.
Hold on, it might be a little. It might be. Hold on. Nah, I'm not going to share it because it's not. It's just one of those accounts that's not really reliable. So, yeah, I don't want to share false info. I think it's people just trolling. There has been obviously rumors potentially Gakpo can start, but it's not confirmed. So
Unconfirmed rumours.
I don't think Gakpo will start personally for what it's worth. I think Diaz, I will keep the faith if you've got him. Yes, C-Man says Jota starts. Yeah, Jota should start.
Good.
The only
Yeah.
worry is about Diaz, but after the benching he had against Milan, you'd think he'd start. And also a quick stat for you, for those guys for the Man City Arsenal game. Arsenal haven't won at the Etihad in 9 years. So
Wow.
nearly
9
a decade since Arsenal last won at the Etihad. So bit of a stat. Then I just saw it.
Yeah. It's an interesting stat. 9 years they haven't won at Etihad. Impressive.
Yep. 9 years.
I feel like
Didn't
Arsenal
realise
are
it was that
coming.
long.
Yeah, I feel like Arsenal are coming close though to breaking that long period of 9 years.
Yeah. Yeah, Jota will start, I think. I wouldn't worry. But yeah, we both own Jota. You own Jota as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Jota starts as well. It'd be nice alongside Salah. It's nice to have another Liverpool asset in the midfield that isn't like obviously a Salah who's going to be properly captain this weekend. Half of us almost own him as well, so he doesn't really much in terms of points and rank. Doesn't really affect it because he's template.
We'd love to see Raya save a Haaland pen, says Dan. Yeah, Raya, brilliant save in the Champions League. If you haven't seen it, Jordan, double save.
Oh yeah, the double save he made. To be honest, I thought the header was a little bit more direct to Raya, so it made it. But I do consider his quick reaction to getting up and diving again was pretty impressive for Raya.
Also, thoughts on Sancho nailed-ish. Maresca said his left options are Sancho and Mudryk. Can't see Mudryk starting, can we? With Chelsea, I just think any player's nailed. They're one bad performance away, I think, from just rotation central. I know Maresca said Sancho's nailed. I'm not so sure yet. I would still wait. I mean, Sancho he started the last one, didn't he?
Sancho.
Let me have a look because he's gone to. Feels weird. Sancho playing at Chelsea now.
No, he only played 45. I think he came on after half time.
Yeah, sorry, he played 45. It's too early with Sancho, I think. I know the Chelsea fixtures, West Ham, Brighton, Forest next 3, but no, I'm not going there. Not yet.
Even though he did get an assist
Yeah.
in that 45 minutes he played.
Start Robinson or Vardy or Jordan as well.
It's got to be Robinson, I think. I don't expect a clean sheet from Guardiola. He hasn't shown really attacking numbers either. So yeah, Robinson for me might be a chance of an assist against Newcastle.
I would start Vardy personally. I still think he may get you. On the back end of last season, he sort of ruined my rank because he was scoring and getting quite a few assists. And I still like him. Man City have the second best chance of a clean sheet this game week according to stats. So I wouldn't rule it out. Man City keeping a clean sheet or even a 0-0. It could be one of those games.
Yeah, I'm slightly surprised that Man City are high up there in terms of a clean sheet, especially against the toughest opponent they'll face, I believe, in the Premier League. Because I do think Arsenal will score that. I see a draw in that game, if I'm honest. I see both teams scoring and then both drawing. There's a lot to play for, and I don't think either team's willing to risk losing them out to each other. So yeah,
that's fair shout. But that's it, guys. That's 11 o'clock, 11 a.m. UK time. That is the deadline. Hopefully, you guys locked your teams in. Hopefully, you've done your captaincy options as well. And yeah, we are back again on Sunday or tomorrow for the knee jerk stream. So join us at 7 p.m. right, straight after Man City and Arsenal fixture to discuss our game week 5. We'll talk about how it's gone, review it. Look ahead to game week 6 as well, where I could potentially wildcard depending on how my game week 5 goes. So, one to watch, guys. But thank you all for watching. Please smash the like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel if you've enjoyed the content. Just last comment. I mean, transfers over, deadline's over, but Darian is Munoz, Mooney's, and Isaac to Watkins, Solanke, Ola in a good move. Yeah, I mean they look fine, but it is too late now. Hopefully you've done your moves. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Anything else you'd like to add, Jordan?
Just thanks for watching. Obviously, it's always appreciated, you guys in the chat. Hopefully you have a good weekend too, and hopefully the football is better this weekend and you get the green arrows and a very high scoring week. But yeah, we'll see you Sunday for knee-jerk reaction, see how well the game is done. Until then, take care and enjoy the weekend.